5, we're keeping a close eye on the courts as multiple legal battles continue to play out over the potential deployment of the National Guard to Portland.
Fox 12's investigative reporter Ezra Kaplan has been following the web of court filings and is here to get us up to date.
Even if you've been following the legal saga closely, you'd be forgiven if you find it all, well, confusing. There are multiple courts, multiple legal questions, and multiple timelines. So let's take a moment to step back and break it all down. The legal battle started on September 28th when Oregon and Portland sued the Trump administration, calling the federalization of National Guard soldiers illegal. Now, there are three pathways progressing somewhat simultaneously. The underlying lawsuit is moving forward and is scheduled for a 3-day trial starting on October 29th. In the meantime, Judge Karen Immergut issued 2 temporary restraining orders. The initial one barring the federal deployment of Oregon National Guard members to Portland. The second one barring Trump from deploying any National Guard members to Oregon. The Trump administration successfully appealed the initial temporary restraining order after a 3-judge panel at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in their favor. Here we have a split. Immediately following the appellate ruling, a judge in the Ninth Circuit called for a rehearing of the case, known as an en banc rehearing. We are still waiting to find out if the judges will move forward with that process. At the same time, the Trump administration asked the lower court to reverse the second temporary restraining order, which is the last barrier to them deploying troops to Portland. The lower court judge has now scheduled a hearing for Friday to discuss how the possible en banc rehearing at the appellate level might impact whether she should dissolve that second temporary restraining order. So a couple of big takeaways. It looks like that second temporary restraining order will stay in place at least through the hearing on Friday. So probably no troop deployments until then at the earliest. Meanwhile, all eyes will be on the appellate court as it considers rehearing the case. We're already seeing briefs being filed, and all the parties have a deadline of tonight to argue their case as to why it should or should not be reheard by a larger panel of judges. Reporting in studio, Ezra Kaplan, Fox 12 Oregon.
Ezra, thank you.